Welcome to Learn with Syed. I'm Syed Mahmood. Today we're going to talk about some common mistakes made in English language by the learners from the Indian subcontinent. I was requested from Bangladesh to make a video about students who make such mistakes from Bangladesh based on that perspective. But I thought I'd make it a bit broader. And while I will address some from Bangladesh and some from other countries, I'm hopeful that most of the viewers would find it useful, as I'll cover some of the countries of South Asia in general. I'm going to leave a link of a previous video I made on this topic. I'll put that as a button here as well. So you will find that, the link to that video. That was the previous, that you can consider that as a part 1 of the video. This is part 2. There will be a bit of an overlap, but in this video I'll address 10. At least 8 of them would be new. A couple of them might be a bit of an overlap. So I want to give a disclaimer and say that this is not to offend anyone, not meant to be offensive towards people or students or learners from any country or any region. This is just for educational purposes. I hope we all find it useful and learn from this video. So let's get started with the mistakes made by learners or students from the Indian subcontinent from South Asia. First of all, maximum versus majority. Some people use the word maximum when they actually mean majority. So an example would be, they would say something like, maximum people believed in the story. Maximum people believe the story is incorrect. Because maximum means as much as possible of something. So as fast as possible is the maximum speed. So for example, the car reached its maximum speed. Whereas majority means most of a group of people. So if you have 10 people in the family and 8 of them want to go out, you can say most people want to go out, not maximum people. Maximum would be 10 out of 10. What you mean is majority. Most people. So the correct sentence is majority of the people believe the story, or most people believe the story, not maximum people believe the story. Number 2 is fact versus factor. Fact is something that is known or confirmed to be true. This is like an information, something that's a fact, such as sun rises from the sun rises from the east. So the sun rises from the east is a fact. Everybody knows that. It's a fact. It's an information. It is true. Factor is a circumstance or an influence or anything that contributes to a result. For example, some people would incorrectly say, money is not a fact. What they try to say is, while deciding something, don't consider money. Money is not going to be a problem. So they say money is not a fact. But the reality is, what they mean is money is not a factor. So as I said, factor is something that influences or contributes to a result. So what that means, if money was a factor, then money would restrict the outcome. So you are saying is money is not a problem, do what you need to do. Money is not a factor. So money is not a fact is incorrect. Correct is money is not a factor. So fact versus factor. Number 3, recently. So I have found some people to be a bit confused about when or what time frame is indicated by recently or recent. Now, recent is actually something that has already happened, not long ago. So something that has happened in the recent past, or something that has started recently, recent past. So something that has happened is recent. Incorrect will be, I will go there recently. So some people try to use recently to mean something that is going to happen soon. So the correct version would be, I will go there soon, or I will go there in the near future. Although you might find near future is a bit more formal. So casually you can say, I will go there soon. I will go there recently is incorrect. I went there recently is correct. So recently is something in the past. Soon is something in the near future. Another one is calling their teachers sir or madam. Now, this is common in South Asian countries. to call their teacher sir or madam. Now that's fine as a practice. You call someone you respect sir or madam. That's fine. Although in the Western culture, most people would call their teachers Mr. So-and-so, or in a lot of cases, depending on like university or PhD students will call their teachers or their professors by their first name. But that's a different topic. If you want to call someone out of respect, sir or madam, that's fine. But the problem is when you replace the word teacher with sir or madam. I'll give you an example. You want to talk about the person who teaches you physics or chemistry. If you say physics madam or chemistry sir, it would be incorrect because sir or madam is not a direct replacement of the word teacher or professor or lecturer. They would say, my chemistry sir is my favorite teacher. My chemistry sir is incorrect. You should say my chemistry lecturer, Mr. So-and-so. So in English, that's. And I have to say that this is a cultural practice, which is fine within the confinement of your culture. But when you go to a more international setting, you would like to sound more natural to the wider audience. So this is something you would want to keep in mind. The next one would be giving or taking an exam. Now this is also very common, and this arises from the verb that is used by people from this region to mean writing an exam. So in Hindi or Urdu they would say mujhe exam dena hai. In Bangla they would say ami porikha debo. In Nepali they would say mala exam dinucha. So what is common in all of this is the verb to give. So dena, debo, dinu, these are all verb to give. And verb to give is used here in the native language of these countries to indicate writing an exam. So when they directly translate it into English, it becomes I will give the exam. However, in English, when as a student or a candidate, you want to write an exam, you are actually taking the exam. It's just the way you see it is different. In the English language or that culture, it's seen that, the teacher hands you the question paper. You take it. So the exam is the question paper in a sense. So they're giving you the exam. The teacher is giving you the exam and you are taking it to answer it. So you as a candidate or a student, you take the exam. You do not give the exam. Number 6, the use of boys, guys, or men versus the use of girls, ladies, and women. Now, there is a cultural difference here. Here we have to talk about how these words are perceived by people of the Indian subcontinent. The use of the words in Hindi, Urdu, larka, larki, in Bangla, chele, me, in Nepali, keta, keti. These words are used for young men and young women up to a much higher age for both genders. However, in English language, usually, although there are exceptions and there are debates about this, but generally oversimplified, the general rule is that, say, late teens or even in their 20s, a university or college-going girl would be referred to as a girl, but in terms of their counterparts of the other gender, would not be called boys. Boys indicate much younger male children. So on the other hand, girls can be called girls for the very young female children, as well as a slightly older teenage or in their early 20s, girls can be called girls. So it's just a cultural difference, perhaps because of the words larka larki in Hindi Urdu, in Bangla chele me, in Nepali keta keti. These are used up to a higher age, in their 20s even, for both genders. So this also leads to sentences like larke wale aaye hai kya in Hindi Urdu, meaning has the groom's family arrived. In Bangla they would say chele pakho esheche. Literally translating both of these sentences in Hindi, Urdu or Bangla would mean has the boy's side arrived, has the boy's family arrived. But in English, you would not say that because boy is a young boy. So that's a cultural difference. So as I said, within your culture, that's fine. But if you are going to a different settings or you're speaking to someone who is not from your culture, you might want to use the more standard terms. Men, women, guys, or ladies, all of these terms can be used. But just remember, boys in English means very young male children, maybe 10-year-old, 12-year-old boys. 20-year-old boys, no. 20-year-old guys, men, that's fine. Number 7, doing a job. Some people would incorrectly say his son is doing a job in the city. They mean he is employed in the city. The correct version of the sentence would be his son works in the city. In English language, while you do get a job, so when you are employed, you can say I got a job. But when you refer to someone having an employment there, so you would normally say he works in the city. His son works in the city is correct. His son is doing a job in the city, not so much. So it's not grammatically incorrect, but it is not a standard use. His son works in the city would be a standard use. With regards to mistakes, let's talk about how you describe committing a mistake. This is number 8. Do a mistake versus make a mistake. Again, cultural difference. In the South Asian countries, the language is in a way that the verb used for a mistake is do. Bhul kora in Bangla. Literally translate to doing a mistake. In Hindi or Urdu, the same verb, galti kiya hai, is used, which translates into doing a mistake, but in English language we say making a mistake. So he made a mistake, not he did a mistake. Number 9, uncountable nouns. There are some nouns that do not have any plural. You walk into a room and you see a table, a chair, a couch, a sofa and whatnot. You have to describe all of them together as furniture, not furnitures, not s at the end to mean plural. So incorrect is furnitures, correct is furniture. Same goes with luggage. Do you have your luggages with you is incorrect. Do you have your luggage with you is correct, even if you have 3 different bags. It will still be luggage. Same goes with information. Informations is incorrect. Correct is information. Number 10, missing the article. Incorrect is I went to market, where market is a noun. I went to market. This is common in some of the countries that I'm referring to all this time. The correct version would be I went to the market. You have to add an article. You can say I went to a shop if the shop is unspecified and the one you're speaking to doesn't know which shop. You can say I went to a shop. If they know which shop you're referring to, generally speaking, you would say I went to the shop. So the, an article has to be there. You cannot say I went to shop unless the shop is a verb. That's a different topic. But if the shop is a noun or the market is a noun, then I went to market is incorrect. I went to the market is correct. Before we proceed, I just have to say that some of these mistakes or inaccuracies are based on how our languages are in Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Nepal, and all these other countries. I also have to say that these are based on some of the cultural practices as well. So there is no right or wrong about the cultures or our practices. It's just that when we translate things directly into English, it becomes incorrect in the eyes of the native English speakers. Just remember that if a native English speaker had to learn your language, they would probably struggle even more. So don't think of this as in any way less superior or inferior to another culture or anything like that. It's just that when you go to an international setting, you want to present yourself or the way you say things in a more standard way so that everyone can understand. That's all, nothing other than that. So I promised 10 mistakes, but I have a bonus one for you, number 11. Before I proceed to number 11, I would like to quickly tell you about my second channel, Life Moves, where my wife and I share with you our stories regarding travel, food, and much more. I will leave a link in the description below. Please check out some of the videos on the screen. Now, number 11. Say versus tell. Incorrect, he said me. correct. He told me. He said to me is also correct, but has a bit of a different meaning. What do you think are some of the common mistakes? Please let me know in the comments. Please hit like and subscribe and share with your friends if you think this video was useful. I will see you in the next one. Happy learning.